Greetings, campers. Let's see if the audio and the video are synchronized, or are they syncopated? All right, so I did a show this morning on the other channel because the penalty box has been removed. So we're going to be doing our shows here, and I welcome the campers from there who didn't know that this is where we have been hanging out. And I said, come on down, the water's fine. So I'm putting the link for those of you who are not aware of the other channel, who may have discovered us here. I'm putting a link there. There's plenty of other material there, plus this morning's show. So I'm giving you the link to this morning's show. But we're coming here, and I see I picked up about 300 more subscribers or so just from this morning. That's good. That's why we call this the High IQ channel. Well, now. All right, so last night's was a good show. Interesting information discussing the audit requested or demanded by the representatives from Minnesota, including Dr. MD, Dr. Jensen, who is a state rep, and I discussed it. Now, what I'm putting here is 3 links, short and sweet. First is the link to the other channel so you can catch this morning's show in case you missed it. I'm going to have to rename that back to just Farmer Jones. I guess I was having a brilliant moment of brilliance, and I decided to name them both the same thing. So those who are subscribed to both will be as confused as I was. Say it with me now. I'm so confused. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and the slimes are trying to deceive us, thus removing our free will. Aren't they? Interesting. So that's the show. The second link is from Zero Hedge, and I'm not sure if somebody posted this last night, but this is great. This is kind of tandem to the Minnesota discussion, saying that SanDiego also wants an audit. Now, I am going to suggest to you, and I'm going to add it after the show, the Fox News clip about these two people asking for the audit. That little clip needs to be shared widely, okay? And Huffman Aviation, you're back. Good morning, Candace. I was talking about you before. I have to call you right after the show, as soon as I add the link. Importante. I discussed the Wakefield clip that I put in here last night, and I also put it in this morning's episode on the other channel. But here's the thing. SanDiego is the link here, and this is some important info, and I got to give a shout out to Marty out there in SanDiego, who has been very active in his county managers meeting for SanDiego County and hammering them and speaking his objections and reality to their demented thinking about the requirement of masks. So I shot him an email last night, and I put in a link to both the clip of the guys, the Minnesota people and the Zero Hedge people. And actually, I was concerned maybe he wouldn't pick it up because sometimes we lose track in the emails. He got it, responded at 3 in the morning, which I guess is midnight his time. I got it this morning, 6 o'clock my time, and I responded back. Now, I also spoke with Vilma, and this is important because the question is, where the hell are the audits being done? Because we know that the funding is being given by HHS to the states. The control mechanism is from the White House Coronavirus Task Force. So they're sending out memos and threatening states that they will lose their funding if they don't comply with their, quote, suggestions, unquote. So it's an extortion racket, right? Now, the health department is separate and distinct, presumably, from the governor, but I'm sure the governor's in the loop because he issued the state of emergency. The only way to break that is to remove themselves from the state of emergency and or undeclare the state of emergency, which is what Trump should do. So my discussion with Vilma is, hold on, battery notification, there we are. The discussion is, okay, who's doing the audit? Is it the state health agency? What, really? So they're the guys that are pushing this game, following the rules, and they're going to audit themselves? I don't think so. Or is it the county where you have county coroners? Because doctors can issue death certificates, hospitals issue them, and the county coroner. So now, who is actually going to run the audit? My belief is it should be the county. Vilma, that relentless, persistent, we'll call her a light warrior, is on the case. So we're going to have to get her on here and get a report. We had a great discussion. That's really the question. Who the hell do we demand the audit from, right? Are we demanding it from the county? Are we demanding it from the state? If the state is doing it, how do we know that they're going to say, oh, well, we found 3 out of 10,000 that were wrong? But Minnesota found 800 out of 2,800, which is almost 1/3 of the COVID deaths, pursuant to the new regulation, which is essentially instructing people and mandating them, at the threat of losing their emergency COVID funding, to falsify official documents. Are you hearing me? This is a criminal enterprise from within our government to steal, usurp, repress our constitutional rights. This is serious stuff. It is time to speak up or go and click around. This is serious shit. Now, what Sibel is doing is organizing people. She's pushing for Florida, but if you're not in Florida, you can also click on that link, and I'll be speaking with her, and we need to make sure people are notified. And I'll do a video here on what Vilma finds out in South Carolina. I'll find out, and we'll find out here in Florida. If anybody wants to look into that, who the hell gets to do that audit? But this is important stuff, and groups of us have to send emails demanding it and a follow-up phone call. If you get 2, 5, 10, 15 people demanding it, then suddenly they're like, oh, maybe we should do that. If you hammer your rep and say we need an audit to find out if these COVID deaths are COVID deaths or are these being falsified official documents, and where's the criminal investigation? And if the CDC, under threat from HHS of removing funding, is demanding falsifying official documents, it's a criminal offense, and somebody needs to get clipped. The Nuremberg trials. Well, who the hell's going to prosecute it? Well, these are massive crimes against humanity and against America, in my clear-thinking opinion. These vaccines, as if you listen to Wakefield's, if you haven't, please do. These are genetic engineering operations. Right? Right. Now, the second link is Dr. Jensen, and I've got to put in the clip from Fox News because he breaks it down on how they are being incentivized to create these cases, which is a positive PCR test, which we know that Fauci says anything over 35 cycles is meaningless. I will find that link that I had and put it back in here too. See, I knew we couldn't get away with just 2 links. Well, now. So, got issues there. DeSantis in Florida demanded that the labs notify people that the labs notify the doctors and the people how many cycles they're running it. I'm not sure how he's enforcing it, but it sounds good on its face. It has to be pushed harder and disclosed. Goddamn media, newspapers need to be hassled by readers, either with emails or even small protests with signs saying fake news. Publish how many cycles are in the PCR test. Publish how much money the states and hospitals get for each, quote, case. And then you run that on your video camera and you put it up on a YouTube channel or wherever. But let's get those out there and show that there are protests happening. Action on the street. As somebody commented in these shows, it'll put boots on your feet, boots on the ground. We're talking about 1 million people or so showing up in Washington. I hope so. I hope it's more. And those representatives need to know they need a figurative and a literal ass kicking to realize that they are servants for their constituents. They have a fiduciary duty to uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution for you and for me, for the citizens of America. They took an oath to do it. That oath is in the Constitution that anybody taking public office must swear an oath to uphold, protect, and defend. So, they don't take that seriously. That's just lip service while they quietly go and have their wife own a shipping company to China and then are arguing and looking to change the rules of the House and Congress and the Senate to prevent an objection to the Electoral College votes. Did you hear me? How come Trump hasn't called out Mitch McConnell and his wife's interest in a Chinese shipping company? Well, he's the head of the Senate. He should be forced to resign. How can anybody that has a conflict of interest that wide be allowed to hold public office in this country? This is an outrage and needs to be called out. And if not by you, then who? Trump? Sure. Well, tell him about it, and let's see if he ignores it. Right? Because unless you tell him, he could say, I didn't know. And that is a plausible deniability bullshit story, in my opinion. But unless you tell him, if you tell him, then he knows. Tell his kids. Where's Raven? Hammer the kids. Right? Right. Huffman Aviation. You need to weed yourself, man. You're not welcome here. You know why, right? You got bounced from the last one. Then you changed your name, you got bounced again. So I will wish you a happy new year. Go hang out on other channels and enjoy their chats. Zero contributions ever. But you're first in with a big mouth here. Unacceptable. Free feeding. Unacceptable. We're trying to get something done. This is not entertainment. But for some of us it is. On the other channel it is. The bottom line here is this requires action. Some people say, well, they're YouTubers. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. You decide. Anyway, that's the story. The second link here, before I add the two more, is Dr. Jensen from back in April. Now, he had made quite a vocal outpouring and discussion about these changes in the rules to determine what a proper cause of death is and how this thing's just changed it. Well, this is the clip from then. It's edited. I don't remember who put it up. It's a good job. I don't know if I didn't pin it in last night's, but on this morning show there was an amazing comment in there that I put up, and I pinned that, and there's interesting stuff. But once again, we've got to take action. Just sharing info is great, but information without action is nothing more than entertainment, isn't it? Education without action is nothing more than entertainment, isn't it? So we have enough entertainment. We can watch Married with Children and enjoy the laugh track, or we can watch the purported news. That's entertaining, if you can stomach it. But this is the clip of Jensen, Dr. Jensen, MD, and saying the whole issue of him back in April. I'd like to get that full clip, but he caught a lot of flack on this, and they went after his medical license. And as I said earlier, the deal is that falls into the civil RICO argument and criminal, where it's an extortion of property. They're threatening him to take his property, which is a medical license, okay, if he doesn't comply with their terms. Is that not extortion? And or if he's explaining how this is a criminal act, is this not obstruction of justice as well? These are a couple of elements. And maybe whip back. And I got a Merry Christmas ping from Travis, and I said, we've got to go kick some ass and take some names. A couple of thoughts in mind, but I'd love to get him back on the show and do some live action. Anyway, so I hope you enjoy that thing with Jensen. I hope you enjoy the first one on Zero Hedge. And the question to Marty is, and I put it in there, and I fed him lots of questions, and great work, man. Kudos to you, my man, and a Happy New Year. So I'm going to wish everybody a Happy New Year. I'll probably come back tonight here, and we will go off on some New Year festivities or pensive thoughts, and I don't know what everybody else is doing. And I commented this morning, what's happening in Times Square? They're going to have a televised New Year's Eve celebration. I don't know, are they going to have performers? We're going to have some Hollywood performers and record label performers because it's a televised operation which promotes their own crap. Buy our records, watch our show, buy our commercials. We interrupt with commercials, buy more stuff, enrich us a little further. It's like a closed system of information, in case you hadn't noticed. So now it's the ultimate. And I said this morning, it's the Running Man. You remember that with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where everything is fake and it's all on TV? Yeah. I have some thoughts on that. Raven. Raven's got the WHO. Oh, yes, those lovely bunch of lunatics. When's the last time they swore an oath to uphold the Constitution? Why are we listening to any entity, including the UN, who hasn't taken an oath to uphold the Constitution? We can do business with these people, but we can't allow them to dictate policy. Are you kidding me? Otherwise, we get what we're in now, which is a subversion and erosion of rights, privileges, liberties that most of the brain-dead sleeping idiots take for granted and figure, let's watch some news and they're telling us the truth, right? It's not especially the UN, it's all of them. The WHO. All of these operations are international agencies that have no allegiance and have not taken an oath to uphold our Constitution. Has Gates taken an oath to do it? Has Fauci done that? Have any doctors, except for those in the military, done it? Do not forget, between 280 to 280,000 and 400,000 deaths occur annually in this country based on medical errors. Well, now they want more restrictions. No visitors in hospitals to protect you from COVID. So is that more of a anti-litigation strategy, a litigation defense strategy, so nobody knows what happens? Where are the medical records and the charts that are being properly sanitized after they give wrong medications to people, after they perpetrate medical errors on people? How do you ever find out if you're not allowed to know what happens? So now people go in and check into hospitals, and you're a prisoner there, and they'll give them back when they're done, after they're properly ventilated. The medical industry wants their own, shall we call it, preemptive authority over our constitutional rights. You know what I say to that. Fuck that. And any of these clowns who are doing the Rockefeller theory of medicine, and they trash holistic medicine, and the FDA is up there, a captured agency, as Bobby Kennedy so eloquently puts it, but he's too kind and polite to say that they are corrupt, they are run and controlled by, and they are not serving the American public, and it's an administrative agency, which violates, in my opinion, the Constitution because it usurps the authority of the legislative branch. When FDR created all of these administrative agencies, isn't that what the issue was with the court packing plan? Well, now that becomes the run-of-the-mill bullshit. There's another problem. In these stupid legislatures, they have delegated their authority to the Secretary of State. They have delegated their authority to the governor. How dare the guys in Georgia say, well, we need the governor to convene a special session? Says who? The governor decides when the legislature gets to do their job. I think the Speaker of the House should have the authority and can convene it. Why not? That's like saying Trump has to convene Congress, but these stupid states have allowed and delegated their authority. That's like this, the War Powers Act, where Congress gets to declare war, but they have delegated their authority to the executive branch. They can't declare war, but they can take what? Warlike actions, commit troops and resources, and create war without the authority of Congress because they gave it away. Who's preparing this shit? Is this Raytheon doing it and the military-industrial complex? doing that so they can guarantee perpetual war? Or, on the other side, on the elections, is it those seeking to undermine our Constitution, making these brilliant suggestions because we know these clowns are too busy raising campaign funds? Well, we ought to have publicly funded elections only. And the election should only be run for a couple of months, say 2 months. And that's it, not 2 years. And guess what? All of that media money that is being made showing campaign ads and thus not showing real fact-checking. And not doing fact-checking means those campaign ads will continue and enrich the very media that seeks to distort. And now with our Smith-Mundt, what happens? Smith-Mundt says, we have propaganda and we're funded and we've destroyed the First Amendment because the media can now say, well, we were just doing what the State Department said. We're just doing what the agency said because we're being patriotic. So you can't prosecute us. We're abiding by a law that on its face is unconstitutional. Any questions about why that oath requirement was installed in the Constitution, campers, or not? So I want you to mull it over and let's think about how we bring this concept front, center, loud, and face punch clear that, hey, they work for us. They are upholding our rights to the Constitution as a fiduciary, not as a dilettante who is there to enrich themselves, spend 2 years in Congress, and collect their congressional benefits, including medical, what do they call it? Medical insurance for life on our dime. No, no. Oh, no. Just my thinking, campers. I'm enjoying the fact that we had to get a little irritation off our chest. If you like the thinking, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm putting the PayPal link and the Patreon link in. Please join. Patreon will be kicking in the next few days, and we will get our funding from that, which is good, helpful, and supportive. And I owe you guys some posts. I'm a little befuddled here. I still haven't had breakfast. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. We're going live. And the PayPal are always great for one-time contributions, and we know Huffman will send it over, as well as his buddy Petrodollar, the two Brits over there. Bring it, guys. But it's entertainment. This is more important than entertainment, don't you know? If you're looking for entertainment, go click on porn. It fights carpal tunnel syndrome. Know what I mean? Click, click. Don't you love that ad with that guy? Hey, stop clicking around. I'm in my backyard and I'm going to charge my battery. What's up with this guy? What's he got stuffed in his mouth? Annoying. And then there's a couple of others that I love. Those voiceovers are great. And I got to reach out to Frogville and tell him I'll do the voiceover on his movie. Well, now. Thank you, campers. Like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, give it a comment. And if you haven't subscribed, ping it. But check this morning's if you haven't seen it on the old Farmer Jones Law channel. I'm going to change that back. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. Infotainment. Right. That's great if the infotainment is being funded by the advertising that you're being force-fed to watch. We don't do ads here. And I was demonetized on the other ones a very long time ago. But I don't bitch and moan about it. I just tell it straight. All right. We'll see you all later. Thank you, campers. What does that say? Good people going to see us around the campfire. T.S., you put in a great comment this morning. And Raven, civil Senate and state would remove the Capitol Authority. Well, I think there's more to it than that. They need to uphold their oath. There's a lot of stuff to go. All right. FJ out. Thank you, campus. We'll see you later. And the sun was shining, so I had to pull the blinds. Maybe I'll go colorize in Florida. But when I get out there, it'll get cloudy again. Later. Bye for now.